We've seen a dangerous trend returning to Arizona's highways recently. Drivers driving in the wrong direction, endangering the lives of many others.
And in several recent cases, DPS troopers have been forced to take drastic action, even crashing into those cars themselves. 12 News journalist Sean Rice is here in studio after speaking with the DPS director. And Sean, you know, when you think about it, these are incredibly split-second decisions for these troopers to make.
I cannot imagine what a DPS trooper goes through when they hear this call on the radio, wrong way driver, especially in the overnight hours where visibility is not that great. Troopers know they're heading into one of the most dangerous situations they could possibly face when this call airs out on their police radio. This became a reality early Wednesday morning. Take a look at this video here to my left. This happened in Northwest Peoria when a wrong way driver was heading north on the Loop 303. A DPS trooper was forced to make an incredibly difficult decision. Stop that driver. He tried, it didn't work, and instead he was forced to collide head-on with that driver. Thankfully, though, neither the trooper nor the driver were seriously injured. This was not done by accident on Wednesday morning. DPS Director Jeff Glover tells me if a trooper feels a wrong-way driver is putting the lives of other drivers at risk and isn't pulling over for a traffic stop, they will sacrifice themselves and collide with cars on purpose. DPS says these kind of calls are happening more often again after a brief lull earlier this year when they didn't see very many, actually. Each time, troopers have only seconds to react, choosing between stopping traffic, setting up a barrier, or in some cases, as I mentioned, using their own patrol car to block the danger.
It's a lot of bravery on their part because you're essentially putting your life on the line to be able to stop an individual. Now, there's different ways that they are having to respond depending on the location, time, the amount of traffic that may be on the roadway. But they have to look at it and weigh it out for themselves and figure out what's in the best interest of the public in order to stop this particular driver.
And DPS Director Glover tells me many of these wrong way incidents trace back to impairment or confusion. Often drivers may be under the influence. They also see this quite often with elderly motorists, especially in those nighttime hours. They may mistakenly enter through an off-ramp heading in the wrong direction. But the outcome, of course, can be catastrophic. Even one mistake can turn deadly for either party. Now, troopers, they do have a few tools they can use besides colliding head-on. They have traffic brakes to slow cars behind them. They will use pit maneuvers. They'll even use the grappler device. It's a locally made device that latches onto a suspect's back tire, and a lot of times it's very effective in bringing that car to a stop. A head-on collision is viewed, I'm told, as a last resort. DPS says some tips available. If you see headlights coming your direction on an Arizona highway, they recommend slowing down, moving to your right, and calling 911 immediately. We'll send it back to you.
You know, Sean, I think about, a lot of times on these wrong way crashes, of course, it's happening on the freeways, right?
Yep.
And these cars are driving at such a high rate of speed, naturally, because they're on the freeway. So in a situation like that, I mean, going head on, that is just unfathomable, but, a scary reality.
The word that the DPS director used multiple times, and I agree with him, is courage here. This is one of those calls that gets a DPS trooper's adrenaline going more than any other call, I'm told, just because of that reality they may face to not only have to endanger themselves, but potentially endanger the driver, whether they're impaired or not. This is a harsh reality for a lot of our troopers on Arizona highways.
They don't have any choices. What else they can do? I mean, I've seen them try to kind of clip the back end of it as it's passing on. But, that again, you talked about speeds.
On. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
endangering their own lives for sure. Sean, thank you. New facial recognition.